Good morning, Sequoyah Elementary friends. Mrs. Woodson here, coming to you to share a little library lesson with you in your living room. I have a shout out I want to do this morning to Diana. I want to wish her a very, very happy birthday today. That's kind of a special thing I'm sorry, it wasn't today. It was yesterday, I've been told. So happy birthday yesterday, Diana. What I'm going to share with you this morning are just some things that we would be doing in the elementary library during this time of the year. And one little lesson that I would do when the kids come in is we would talk about finding out just how old a book is. And we do that by finding this little symbol. Can you see this, Mr. Trujillo? Okay, good. This little symbol is a C with a circle around it. That's the copyright symbol. And right next to the copyright symbol on the back of the title page in a book is the year the book was made. I tell my students the birthday of the book. So we're always looking for the birthday of the book. And in just a few minutes, we're going to talk about this book here, Where the Sidewalk Ends. And then I'm also going to read a book to you today called Dog Coo by Andrew Clements. Two separate authors, but we're going to read these in honor of National Poetry Month. Back to copyright. HarperCollins is the publishing company that does for Shel Silverstein and his books, and they give us permission to read these books out loud. All teachers across our state, across the nation, have permission to share books virtually through television. It's really nice of them to let us share those. And Simon Schuster is the publishing company that publishes Andrew Clements' Dog Coo book, and they too give us permission to do that. So back to copyright. When I look on this one here, Where the Sidewalk Ends, on the title page, this isn't quite the title page. I'm going to go one more, and I look for this circle with the C. Well, Woodson, get it together. And I find that this book was written in 1974. So I'm going to write out 1974. That's the year. This is the year we're in. So this is what we do in the library to figure out how old the book is. We use the birthday of the book by that symbol, copyright, and we subtract it from the year that we're currently in. That's how we find out how old it is. Now we talk about why is it important to know that? Well, in a fiction story or in a poetry book, it doesn't matter how old it is, because a good book is a good book, a good story. But when we're talking about nonfiction, that means the author's written it for the purpose to inform us, to give us great information. We need to make sure that the information that we're reading isn't outdated. For example, outer space books. Pluto was once a planet, and now it's not. I'm not sure what the status right now is of Pluto, because it has changed around. We want to make sure our information is current when we're talking about things in science and the mathematics and technology. Let's find out how old Where the Sidewalk Ends is. So we have place value, and what we tell our kids is, or what I tell them is, I do old school math. I don't know about new math. So we have thousands, hundreds, tens, and ones. And I just cover up, and I take 0 minus 4. And we all know that you cannot take 4 from 0. So I have to borrow 1 here and make that a 1. Oh, my marker's not working. There it goes. When I borrow 1, take it over here, that makes this not 1, but it makes it 10. Now, 10 minus 4 equals 6. 1 minus 7, because now I'm going to move over into the tens place. And I'm not going to worry about these, and I'm not going to worry about this, because I've already figured out this number. 1 minus 7, I can't do that either, because you can't take 7 away from 1. So, I can't borrow from the 0. I have to go all the way out to the thousands place, make that a 1, and I make this a 10. Now I can borrow 1 from the 10. Make that a 9. I make this an 11. 11 minus 7 is 4. 9 minus 9 is 0, right? 1 minus 1 is 0. Shel Silverstein's book, Where the Sidewalk Ends, is 46 years old. What's great about these books by Shel Silverstein, let's see if his picture's on the back of this. Yep, here's the picture of the author. These books are chock full of poetry. And the reason that's a big deal is because, I don't know if you know this or not, but April is National Poetry Month. And so I brought several of his books that these aren't the only kinds of books he's written, but Shel Silverstein is famous for the funny and silly and humorous poems that he writes for children. And what he does on the inside, they're pretty thick books. When you think about a book, looks like a pretty good chapter book, right? But that's not what it is. When you open it up and you start going through his books, there's a poem on each page in a little ink, black and white drawing that he's illustrated each one of his poems. So you can flip to the middle, you can flip to the back, you can read a poem or two, and the illustration helps you use your imagination to enjoy his works of poetry. I'm going to read one to you today, and the one I'm going to read to you today is from Where the Sidewalk Ends. It's about being 1 inch tall. I don't know if you've ever thought about being 1 inch tall. And I meant to grab a ruler, but I can use this pen cap lid, because if I'm thinking about a ruler and being 1 inch tall, that's about the height of this cap, this pen cap. That means your whole body would have to squeeze in to fit head and your feet in here. Can you imagine being 1 inch tall? That's what I love about poetry. I love that because it causes us to stretch our imagination to it. 1 inch tall. If you were only 1 inch tall, you'd ride a worm to school. The teardrop of a crying ant would be your swimming pool. A crumb of cake would be a feast and last you 7 days at least. A flea would be a frightening beast if you were 1 inch tall. If you were only 1 inch tall, you'd walk beneath the door, and it would take a month to get down to the store. A bit of fluff would be your bed. You'd swing upon a spider's thread and wear a thimble on your head if you were 1 inch tall. You'd surf across the kitchen sink upon a stick of gum. You couldn't hug your mama. You'd have to hug her thumb. To move a pen would take all night. This poem took 14 years to write because I'm just 1 inch tall. Did that help you use your imagination? And can you imagine? You know what a thimble is? It's that metal thing that your mom or a seamstress or a sewing person puts on their thumb to shove the needle through the fabric that's really thick so it doesn't hurt their thumb. It's a little metal cap. Can you imagine wearing that because that was your hat? I liked having cake for 7 days at least. I love how it uses your imagination. Take a look at this little ink drawing. I don't know if you can see it. I don't know, Mr. Trujillo, if they can see it or not. But here he is, riding a worm to school. That's what he chose to ride to school. If you were 1 inch tall, I don't know what you would choose to ride to school. Maybe a mouse? I don't know. Because you would be very, very short. And the options would really open up for you. Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. Now take a look here. This isn't the only book he's written. He's written tons of others. And as I go through, let me just show you a couple more. That's one poem. When I flip, I didn't do that. Look at that. It's beautiful. The drawing matches the poem. It goes with. So each one of these little poems takes you on a journey in your imagination. Some of them are silly. Some of them are funny. Some of them are serious. Where the Sidewalk Ends. There are many others here that he's done. He's done Runny Babbitt, Falling Up. Here's a picture of Shel Silverstein on the back. Everything on It by Shel Silverstein, and A Light in the Attic. If you get a chance, I encourage you to get your eyes on one of these this month sometime. We don't have that much time left in this month, Get your eyes on one of those and see if you can read a few poems from that book. I think you'll enjoy it. I have another story I want to share with you today. It's by a different author. His name is Andrew Clements. Now, this story is a fiction story. The author, Andrew Clements, had his friend Tim Bowers, help him do the book because Tim Bowers is the illustrator. He did the artwork. Tim Bowers drew the dog. He drew all the pictures in the story, and Andrew Clements just wrote the words. This has a beginning, a middle, and an end. This is the main character. Isn't he cute? Let me scoot up so you can see him. Isn't he cute? He has a problem. Can you imagine and think about what his problem could be? The title of the book is Dog Coo. Let's read and find out what this little puppy's problem is. I think you're going to enjoy it. I think you're even going to be more surprised at what Andrew Clements does in this book titled Dog Coo. Andrew Clements, Dog Coo, illustrated by Tim Bowers. Here he comes. It's getting dark outside, and he's in the neighborhood without a leash or a collar. Wonder where he's going. Let's find out. There on the back steps, the eyes of a hungry dog. Will she shut the door? Oh, here is the other side. Oh, look. The gate is open. He's peeking in. I wonder if he smells things. The first food, then a bath. The food was a lot more fun. Still, it all feels good. The baby should get the bath too, whether she wants it or not. Morning brings children, hugs, licks, barking and laughing, warmer than sunshine. He's very excited. I don't think Dad is quite sure on his way to work. A dog needs a name. Rags, Mutt, Pooch. No, not Rover. Mooch, yes, Mooch. Perfect. He's getting all ready. This guy's got a pain. It's loud, fast, and crazy. Food, coats, then the front door slams. Mooch hates the school bus. First, arf, arf, then woof. Soon, arf, arf, then woof, woof, woof. Mooch has nice neighbors. There's a fence between. They can hear each other. Nose out the window, ears flapping, hair pushed straight back. Adventures and smell. He's smiling. He's smiling because he smells hot dogs. Oh. The house is quiet. No kids, no mom, and no food. What's a dog to do? Chew on dirty socks, roll around in week old trash. Ah, that's much better. Oh no, this is the icky kind of trash. Not just the paper trash, but the food trash. You know, the kind that has the coffee grinds in it and the icky banana peelings. And he didn't just chew on the socks. Look what he's done. He's ripped a hole in them. I don't know if that's part of this nice shirt here. He's torn this apart. I hope those aren't someone's special dress socks. Here comes Mom. Squirrel sits in tree. Mooch sits below, looking up. Who has more patience? She's put him out, and she's in here cleaning up. Can you see that? Sun all morning long, a deep, cool drink of water, shade all afternoon. Scratch, sniff, eat, yawn, nap, dreams of rabbit and running. Could life be sweeter? The sound of children. That's what was missing all day. Mooch loves the family meeting. There are words and words and words. Did someone say pound? Dad puts on his coat, and then the sound of a car. It doesn't look good. Oh, I hope he gets to stay. It's the car again, and then footsteps at the door. Will this be goodbye? A new doggy bed, food, a bowl, a squeaky toy. Mooch has found his home. Yay, Dad. He came through. He didn't take him to the pound. They're all happy. And Mooch has his new haul. And I think they decided to give him those socks he tore up. I love that. This has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Poor Mooch. Did you figure out what his problem was? He was a stray dog. He didn't have a home. And he solved his problem by this family taking him in and keeping him. Now, it looked like there for a minute that he may not get to stay because of his stray dog ways and his bad behavior, because he hasn't quite learned how to live in a house just yet. But they decide to keep him. I love what Andrew Clements did in this story, Dog Coo, because you're not going to believe that every one of these pages in this book is actually a form of poetry. So in honor of National Poetry Month, I decided to take a look at Dog Coo and show you all. Let me grab my little paper back here that's taped. This kind of poetry we just read by Andrew Clements is called a haiku. A haiku is a traditional form of Japanese poetry. Most haikus are written about nature. A haiku has 3 lines. The first line has 7 syllables. The second line has 5. The first line has 5 syllables. The second line has 7. And the last line has 5 syllables. Haikus do not need to rhyme, but they do have to fit in that neat little word container of that 5-7-5. Now, do you know what a syllable is? A syllable are the phonetic groups of sounds that words make when they're put together, like Oklahoma. You can put your hand under your chin and count the syllables in Oklahoma. Oklahoma has 4 syllables. Now, that could go in the top line, but we would have to add another syllable to make Oklahoma be in the top line of a haiku. Take a look at what Andrew Clements did here. Is it better up there, Mr. Trujillo, or back here? Okay, I'm going to come up there then so they can see. One of the things in the story that was super, super scary was when Mooch got into the trash. He was bored, like we've all been kind of lately. He was bored and he got into the trash and he did this. It says, chew on dirty socks. Remember that? Roll around in weak old trash. Oh, the bad trash. Mm-hmm. And then it says, that's much better. Well, what Andrew Clements did on every single page I checked, I went back through and looked for 3 lines on every page in his story. There are 5 syllables in the first line, 7 syllables in the second line, and 5 syllables in that last line. He stuck the whole story in neat little containers on every page, that haiku container of 5-7-5. Look right here. Chew on dirty socks. 5. This has got to have 7 to be a haiku. Roll around in week old trash. 7. Do you think it has 5? Let's see. Ah, that's much better. 5. He does that in the whole story. So you might have been wondering, if you hadn't heard this story before, why would Andrew Clements name this book Dog Coo? Well, he named it Dog Coo because he wrote the whole story in the format of a haiku. Don't you love that? I absolutely and totally love that. I checked every page in that book, and I can just go back and show you. I showed you that one, but let's just look and make sure. I think it is amazing how he did that. Can you see the 3 lines? And that's a 575. If we were to go back and do that, it would be 575. Next page, 3 lines. 575. Next line. 3 lines. How clever of him to do that for us and create this cute little character named Mooch, who had a real fiction character problem of not having a real home. And I love how the family takes him anyway when he's naughty. I wrote my own haiku. I think you could do that too. Let me just flip this around here. I like being close to you all so you all can see me. Do you want to check to see if mine is 575? Let's look and see. What season are we in right now? We're in the season of spring. So I wrote this one. Butterfly flying. Honeybees collect nectar. Flowers bloom in spring. Let's check to see if it's 575. Butterfly, butterfly, flying. That's 5. 5. Honeybee, collect nectar. 7. Flowers bloom in spring. 5. I wonder if you thought about getting out a piece of paper, I don't care what kind of paper, and you just wrote out the number out to the side, 5, 7, underneath the 5, and then a 5. And then out to the side of that 5, you come up with your own haiku in honor of National Poetry Month. I would love to see those. I would love for you to share those with us on our, you could share them with your school or your teacher's webpage. I know that she has them. Let me see if I've got my little book talk page. You could share them on here too. Sequoyah Elementary Book Talks. You could put your haikus on there or share them with your teachers on their web pages. They would love to see your haikus for National Poetry Month. I know that they like for you all to get inside your head and be creative, and then also think about words and how they're put together and how you can think about the syllables in a word. And then constructing that causes you to think critically. It's a really great tool for you to do. It's a really great thing for you to do. And you know what else I would do? I would take some of my artistic abilities, which I have to watch Mrs. Armstrong here at Sequoyah do that because she's really good at drawing. But you could go out to the side and you could illustrate your haiku with whatever it is that you decide to write about. Sequoyah Elementary Book Talks. 2 more minutes. How about we read another poem from Shel Silverstein? Does that sound good? A couple more minutes left. That went a lot faster than I thought. Didn't time myself as much. Let me see. I think it was in this one. Let's read one more of his. I don't know if you have a brother or sister like this. If you haven't seen me read this one, I like this artwork that he did in this one. Stack of pancakes. My sister and I, we have 6 sisters in my family. When we make pancakes, there is a stack of them. They're this tall. And then all of our kids get in the room. Ooh, talk about a stack of pancakes. Pancakes. Who wants a pancake? Sweet and piping hot. Good little Grace looks up and says, I'll take the one on top. Who else wants a pancake fresh off the griddle? Terrible Teresa smiles and says, I'll take the one in the middle. Oh, why does she want this one? I know why. Because she's just like my nephew Davin. She wants to see the whole stack fall down. She wants to see it fall. Oh, here's one more. Colors. We have 1 minute. Colors. My skin is kind of sort of brownish, pinkish, yellowish white. My eyes are grayish, bluish green. I'm told they look orange in the night. My hair is reddish, blondish brown, and it's silver when it's wet. And all the colors I am inside have not been invented yet. Shel Silverstein, Where the Sidewalk Ends. I hope you'll take a chance to see if you can locate these books. You might have them laying around the house. I don't know. There are places online where you can access these actually for free right now. I hope you'll read some poetry, and I really look forward to possibly seeing some wonderfully written haikus, 575, in that neat little word container written by you, our Sequoyah Elementary students. I enjoyed spending time with you today. I can't wait to see you till next Tuesday. We'll bring a little more library into your living room. Bye-bye.